Alex Bregman. The Cubs might actually get this guy.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen or watch every day. Subscribe on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, then like the video and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Alex Bregman remains unsigned, and the list of teams still talking with him are the Astros, Blue Jays, Cubs, Red Sox, and Tigers. According to multiple reports over the last couple of days, that list of teams has even changed, or the extent of their discussions with him have changed. So we'll get to that this segment. But yes, the Cubs are genuinely in on this. To what extent for the Cubs side is unclear. Maybe it's for 2 years, maybe for 3 with an opt-out after the first year, maybe for longer. We don't know. But Sam, I'm surprised really that as we record here on February 4th, I'm genuinely surprised that the Cubs are genuinely still in the Bregman sweepstakes. I just am.
This is one, we've had a lot since we've had this show where you go into you have an idea going into it of how you feel about it. Like I'll sit here and people will make fun of me, and that's fine. I really thought the Cubs had a chance at Ohtani. I didn't think it was a given or anything, but I was really disappointed that I was that naive and that, he was going to the Dodgers the whole time. Obviously, we're talking about a different caliber of player here. The point I'm trying to make is I thought Dansby to the Cubs. I felt like that was going to be the foregone conclusion from the beginning of that offseason. This is something that when I first heard it, I didn't believe it. I've asked around. I continue to ask around, and I get the same response. They're there. They are part of the sweepstakes. I just don't understand, number one, how, if the financial restrictions are as strict as they make it seem to believe. And number two, what does this say about Matt Shaw? Number three, what does this mean for Nico Hoerner? I think people, and rightfully so, because I'm one of them, are getting a little bit fatigued of this discussion. But I think it's such a layered discussion because I really don't believe it's just let's plug Alex Bregman in and then, hey, that's it. What does that mean about Nico Hoerner's health? Could he miss the first month of the season then? What does it mean about their confidence in Matt Shaw? Do they really deep down like him much better at second base and they'd like to have a floor-raising third baseman? What does it mean about the finances, and is there more there than meets the eye? I mean, there's so many things that this one player embodies and symbolizes that I think it's really a headlining discussion, because there are reports out there that there's been a 5 or 6 year deal on the table. But then today, Astros people, their GM, Dana, what's his name?
Yeah, Dana Brown.
Dana Brown. He came out and said, was talking about Bregman in the past tense. And then there was some other stuff that came out about, the Red Sox might be talking to Arenado. And now that the Tigers signed Flaherty, and here are the Cubs. It just seems like the Cubs are just kind of like, okay, just keep watching, keep waiting, see if we can get our 3-4 year deal with an opt-out after year one and see what happens. But I think the reason why this is such a big topic, it's not just Alex Bregman, the player. It's what he symbolizes to this team. Like we talked about yesterday with Cease. Could there be 2027 ramifications where the Cubs are like, don't worry about it. Let's go get this guy for now. I'm not worried about it. It's going to be a different landscape in 2 years, right? Like there's just so many different pieces to the puzzle with this conversation.
Yeah, a lot of good questions that you raised there. I do think the Tigers have the most to gain by signing him.
Mm-hmm.
They jolted their fan base the other day with bringing back Jack Flaherty. They signed Tommy Canley last week. They got Gleyber Torres. They signed Alex Cobb a couple months ago, and they made it to the ALCS. So I really think Bregman, in terms of like over the top, like a phrasing such as over the top, I think he does that for them.
Mm-hmm.
And really the only offer we know about, period, is the Astros, who during the season last year offered 6 for 156. And nothing else has been reported. It's really only been speculation, or at best informed speculation. I just thought that, and we don't really know much about the Blue Jays. It sounds like the Red Sox only want to do short term, maybe Cubs short term, whatever. I just thought Nico Hoerner is signed through 2026. They would go Hoerner at second, Matt Shaw at third for 25 and 26. That's what I thought. I didn't really even give much consideration to Bregman at all. And there is a significant cost here. I do wonder how he would be on the team given the financials. And I just go back and forth on, the domino of moves again. I'm having flashbacks to, and I understand, okay, maybe they moved the money to make subsequent moves, but my position for keeping Cody Bellinger is going to be very similar to keeping Hoerner. If they were to sign Bregman, the only reason they trade Hoerner, Sam, is because of dollars. Can we agree?
Yeah.
What are the chances that even 4 of these main guys play 155 games? It's 0.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention 8 or 9 of the starters.
Right.
So I do think there's room for everyone in that scenario. Maybe Matt Shaw opens the year in Des Moines, but I'm very, very surprised. I have to think his AAV would be at least 24 M's. That puts them at 231. First threshold is 241. I don't know. It would be surprising.
Yeah, I think with the 155 games thing, I think the caveat is it's just not a traditional thing to bring up a prospect like Matt Shaw and have him rotate around. So you would think that
Right.
if he came up, he's gonna get the runway. And if you sign Alex Bregman, he's gonna get the runway. And Nico Hoerner's is overqualified to play on a part-time basis. And then you got guys like Birdie. You got you got all these different pieces now for depth pieces. The Hoerner going, maybe they could turn him into a starter. Another starting
Maybe.
pitcher. Could you imagine if they were Shaw at second, Bregman at third, and then slotting in between Imanaga and Steele was like a Michael King or something?
Right.
Because something like that. Because when you say it out,
the Padres would be interested in Hoerner, I would think.
When you say it out loud, okay, let's say Bregman costs 24 M's and that puts him at 231.
Yeah.
And then they trade Hoerner for let's say a pitcher that costs about 10. So what's Hoerner making? About 11 and a half. So you could get rid of that salary. You would still, they obviously in this case they'd be done with relievers. You would go into the year 10 below the luxury tax with Alex Bregman, and a pitcher. Mm-hmm. And so the math does math in that regard. But I mean, the weaving that Jed would have to do to make that happen would seem really challenging. But there's got to be, let me ask you this so we can move on. If the Cubs aren't in on Bregman, what's the leverage here? Like, is Boris using the leverage? Like, who is he even trying to leverage against? We don't even know. Is it the Tigers? Is it Boston? Is it Houston? Like, they have to be somewhat connected to him. I think we could agree it's just on one of those. It's going to be a 3-year, 90 mil, 24-year one with an opt-out after that.
Yeah, I think the leverage game is just contract length. No one really. Okay, so the Astros once upon a time offered this 6 years. We have no idea the status of that, but it sure seems like as we record here on Feb the 4th, he doesn't have another 6-year deal. So the holdout, if you want to use that term, would be for 6 years or maybe 5. And the Tigers maybe want to go 4, and the Cubs want to go 3, the Red Sox want to go 3, and Blue Jays, maybe the Blue Jays, you could see them having a 5-year deal on the table, but then that goes to the human element.
And Alonso, by the way, is still out
Matt Spiegel on the Score on Monday just talked about the human element of Bregman doesn't want to go to Toronto. Great, they have a 5-year deal on the table. So what?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really just contract length at this point, based on what transpired during the day Tuesday with Dana Brown speaking about Bregman in the past tense. Craig Breslow has hinted at a couple things over with the Red Sox. You start to wonder if it is Tigers or Cubs. That's where I'm at. It's down to the Tigers or Cubs, and then with the Astros on the outside.
And you talk about the human element. Do you feel like if I'm Bregman, man, and I saw what happened to Jordan Montgomery, and I saw what happened with Bellinger. Bellinger didn't have a great year last year. And, who knows? I want to find my home already. I believe, I could be wrong. I think he's married with a kid. I
don't know, actually.
I think he's got a family. It's February. If he's going to be a Cub, he's going to be facing an ace pitcher hitting in the 2 or 3 hole in a month and a half. He's got to get to work, especially if he's going to have an opt-out after year 1. This Boris thing, it just doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense for a lot of people.
Well, and I think we've learned our lesson putting dates on things.
Oh, we have.
But the end of the month has to be his goal, right? The end of February.
I would think that his goal should be, I would want to start spring training with my new team.
Right, for the first full team workout.
Yeah, I don't want to just come in.
Well, that's next Friday.
I know. I'm saying what I would want to do, but I'm not a big leaguer.
Well, and the other part of the human element is, how close is he with Tucker and Presley?
Right.
Is that a factor here? Because when you put Bregman in this lineup,
we're going to talk.
I do start to dream a little bit, and we're going to take a peek at said lineup next.
This episode is brought to you by...
Oh, sorry about that. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The big game is almost here. It's this Sunday. And there's no better to make it even more exciting than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in winnings awarded, Prize Picks makes it fun and simple to get in on the action. Here's how it works. You've heard us talk about this before. You pick more or less on at least 2 player projections. And if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. That's right, 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks even has a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes only needs to throw 1 yard to win. That's a free win right there. Pair that with one more correct pick, and you're cashing out. This week, maybe you're looking at more on Travis Kelce receiving yards or more for Jalen Hurts passing yards. What I love the most about this is they have fast, safe withdrawals. When I win, my cash is in my account in as little as 15 minutes. So download Prize Picks today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Oh, it's good to say this again. Prize Picks, run your game. All right. I am excited to go over this potential lineup. And Alex Bregman, his most frequent spot, Sam, each of the last 2 years was second. In 22, it was about an even split, 78 games hitting third, 74 games hitting cleanup. But the last 2 years, just kind of looking at most recent, was second. And when I look at this, it's just so I guess my question for you is,
Yeah.
scenario, Hoerner is not on the Cubs.
Okay.
And where are you at with that in terms of seeking more of the shakeup? Because I know you did get a little down on Hoerner last campaign.
Yes.
So in terms of just seeing the so much newness here with Bregman, Tucker, and Shaw, you must be a fan of this.
First of all, it's a beautifully constructed lineup by you. It's exactly how the lineup would be.
Thank you.
Exactly. And then after Swanson's hitting about 190, maybe they flip Shaw and him. No, I think Dance is going to bounce back.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question because I'm old school, and I've always thought that Nico Hoerner was my type of player.
Yeah.
Bat to ball skills, clutch hitting. He just to me was one of those guys. I just felt like he was a Dustin Pedroia type. And not in terms of skill set. I just always thought his nose would be in the center of winning. And then we added Dansby, and that was what I believed with him. And I remember telling my cousin Scott, I go, this is going to be the middle infield. Like, we're going to win with these guys. And last year, it was just with both of them, but especially Nico, it's just every time he came up in a big spot, he didn't deliver. And everything, I mean, there's so many times, I think you even said to me, everyone's like, Sam, isn't this what Nico's supposed to be doing? And it just didn't work. And so it was just, is it just a bad season? Potentially. Am I giving up on Nico Hoerner? No. If they kept Nico Hoerner, I would not. I still believe in the skill set, but he's not 20 anymore. It needs to come together. He needs to be more than a 270 hitter that hits no home runs. If he's going to hit 270, 280, he's got to get big hits for this team. And last year, he didn't do that. Maybe he was injured. Maybe that impacted him. Where am I at? I love this lineup a lot. I think this lineup right here is a 90-win lineup. Wow. The only thing I think I'm in the minority of among Cubs fans is I just don't have a ton of confidence in Michael Busch right now. I've done a lot of homework on that, and I could be wrong, and that I would love that. But I really like this lineup, and I like this team. If Nico Hoerner's a part of it, I like it as well. But like, enough's enough. Like, you got to produce. I mean, he wasn't good. Like, and by the way, and we've talked about this on his show, a lot of, he ended up at about 270, 275, whatever it was last year. And so much of that came at the end of the year. That last month.
It was like the last 25, 30 games. Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it. Like, he's still trying as hard. He can't give away the at-bats, but it just doesn't do a whole lot for me. With his skill set, he needs to be a 285, 290 plus hitter, and he needs to steal bases, and he needs to get clutch hits for this team. And last year, he wasn't good enough. I believe he could be, but I like this lineup as well.
Yeah. Hap, Bregman, Tucker, Seiya, Busch, Swanson, PCA, Shaw, and Amaya.
I mean, that's a good lineup.
Is this a top 5 offense in the National League is what I'm wondering, because you have the Dodgers, Braves, Phillies right away. That's 3 spots of some combo. Done.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The Mets will be good offensively. I think the Diamondbacks will be good offensively.
Maybe San Diego.
Padres, right? But then I think the Cubs are the very next in the mix. And for a team that was 7th in runs scored in the NL last year and 12th in all of baseball, this group does better.
Well, this is a group that I would have a hard time seeing them be the second to worst offense in baseball for 2 straight months.
Yeah. 60-plus games last year. They averaged 3 runs a game.
Right. I mean, let's just look at it.
It was an abomination.
Let's just do it real quick. Ian Happ. High 7s OPS, 20-plus home runs. Bregman, mid to high 7 OPS, hopefully 20-plus home runs. Tucker, mid to high 8s OPS, 30-plus home runs. Mm-hmm. Suzuki, mid to high 8 OPS, 25-plus home runs. That's your 1 through 4 right there.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Dansby should
man.
be better.
Right.
PCA takes a step forward, and Shaw's the ultimate wild card. It's a good group of players right here. This is a good enough group to go 1-1 in Japan.
Go Cubs.
Against the Dodgers.
What I was thinking when you were
Sweep those
talking
guys.
yesterday on the show, what if Seiya had the same OPS as Tucker? How much better would they be?
Yeah.
If he had like an 8, he was flirting with 880 or something.
Yeah, well, he needs to stay healthy for the full year.
Right, right.
That's the big thing with him. I mean, when he came back from that oblique, he basically gave away May. And then from June plus, he was an 870 guy.
Right.
But
Right.
you can't have, if you want to be a star level guy, you can't have an OPS of 602 in a month.
No, that's a good point.
720. That could
it's
be
fun to dream. And I just think for fans' sake, they should have like a free agent / trade deadline of like February 15th.
Oh, I think it should be sooner.
And I'm being conservative.
I think by the end of January, all
So
teams
February
are final.
1st, you think?
February 1.
Okay.
And then it'd be a great time for sports fans. Feeds in right into the NBA deadline. Feeds in right into the Super Bowl. Make baseball part of the winter. February 1 cutoff. I don't want to find out that Bregman is going to some team at 3 a.m. on a Thursday night, late February. Or Thursday morning.
Bellinger news broke at 1-something in the morning last year.
Yeah, just on a random Saturday.
Saturday to Sunday, no less.
Have a deadline. It's good for the business. It's good for everybody. And Scott Boras and his money will be just fine.
Coming up next, we play a game we call How Much Would It Take?
This episode is brought to you by Game Time, whether it's a Cubs game. How many are we going to go to this year? Over, under 5.5?
Under.
A comedy show or a concert. I love going to live events, and now Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. The experience of searching for and then buying tickets on Game Time is simple. Plus, Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it?
Game Time. You picked a good number, 5.5, because I really think 5 is a sweet spot.
How many did I? So
I would love to go to 5 games.
I think I went to 4 last year.
It was something like that, yeah. Yeah, 4 or 5. So
exciting.
All right. Well, that's the
Mother's
show.
Day,
Oh no, we have this segment. Okay.
Cubs Dodgers. We went to. I went on Mother's Day. I went for a birthday. It's 3. I feel like I went to 1. Oh, Nick's bachelor party.
Cubs Cardinals. Yeah.
So what was my record? Was I believe 2-2.
Yeah.
So, how much would it take for you to host a few listeners at your place for that first game on March the 18th?
At 5 a.m.?
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of money.
Make some breakfast or get it carried in.
It's a great question.
Take out.
So let me phrase it like this. I love our listeners. I don't like company before 11 a.m. So it doesn't even matter. Listeners, strangers, family, friends.
Could be anyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So how much would if you're saying about 3-4 people come over to my place, we got the game on, I'm doing the watch along, and they're having breakfast in my home that I prepared.
Or you got it from somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be about $1,000.
Okay.
So I have we'll intertwine our 2 segments here because I have a 0 to 100 for you.
Oh, great.
And I really, because you're really good at this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna close. This isn't a very creative one.
Sure.
I could do another one because we got some time. 0 to 100 on the percentage of Alex Bregman becoming a Chicago Cub. Like, where are you over 30% now, or?
Ooh, that's a good one. 30 again, you're good with that. The over-unders and all that. 30 is a nice number.
Because where I'm at is about a month ago, I would have it at about 3%.
Right.
And
now it's probably like what, 33?
Right now, I'd probably be like at like, I think, let's put it like this. We've done now what, 2 or 3 shows on this?
Definitely 2. Yeah.
We wouldn't do multiple shows if there wasn't at least a 1 in 4 chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we did the Ohtani stuff last year, I genuinely believe that there was at least a 1 in 3, 1 in 2 chance to get him.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I never rehearse for shows. I never I don't do any of that. I rehearsed I think I did a solo show where I gave him my pitch, why he should come to Chicago. And I practiced it because I was just, you never know.
Wow.
I wanted him so bad. So let me think of a good, how much would it take for you? How much would it take for you? I got a good one. How much would it take for you and your lovely wife, Kira, to take a road trip to Iowa City and watch this men's basketball team play over the weekend?
Oh,
that's a good one. And Kira has to be a part of it. That's part of the question.
Yeah. Well, and they're not even a bubble squad.
No, they've really faltered. I think they played tonight, actually.
No, they had another injury the other day as well.
Yeah, because you don't spend a whole lot of time watching college basketball these days.
No, I mean, I watched some of the women's game the other day. Caitlin Clark got her number retired. They upset USC, the number 4 team in the country.
Oh, did they?
They have a really, their women's team is one of the last 4 in right now. I hope they can make the tournament again. The men's program.
I think Illinois women's basketball is having a good year. I think they're going to make the tournament.
$500, something like that.
Oh, that seems low.
Yeah, well, you said 1,000 for the breakfast thing, so I was going to match it.
500 because I mean, think about it. You got to go there.
Oh, you mean like an overnight stay?
Yeah, it's an overnight.
So I'm going to go 1,750 on that. It's 1,750.
Has Kira ever been to Iowa City?
Yeah, we went in June.
Oh, so that's how much I remember.
So,
all right.
Thanks for remembering. So we recorded earlier that day. So.
I don't listen.
And then later that day, the Cubs blew the game to the Giants.
That was that day
in San Fran.
Oh, was that Monday?
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the worst losses of the season.
It was.
Any other questions? Any other?
No.
0 to 100.
All right.
It's getting lighter. It's getting lighter out.
It is. It's cold again, but that's okay.
I tried to jog. For some reason, I thought today was warmer. I went outside to jog in the morning. I made it about 45 seconds.
Yeah, I think they got the temperature wrong. So
all right. Hopefully, Pacoda didn't get it wrong.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's a good one. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Yeah, hopefully the hard drive's working. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube or leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. We will certainly be back. And if you're this far in the episode, maybe with a little surprise later this week. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs. Parker?
See ya.